This is San Diego News Network. I'm Rebecca Tolan. We hear warnings that climate change could dramatically affect life on Earth with rising temperatures, drought, wildfires, and flooding. But some scientists say there may be a bigger threat many people have never considered. It's called ocean acidification. A new documentary called A Sea Change says all marine life is threatened by increasing carbon dioxide levels in the ocean.
We are heading into some pretty dangerous territory here.
It's not just the magnitude of the change, it's the rate of change that species can't adapt to.
I think we've gone past the point now whereby we can avoid losing significant species.
Andrew Dixon is a marine chemist at the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Welcome. So it works out that the carbon dioxide that is being released up in the atmosphere also falls back down into the oceans. At what rate is that happening?
The carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is dissolving into the oceans, and it's dissolving in quite small amounts if you thought about 1 square foot of ocean surface. But if I were to say it's about 1,000 tons per second that are going into the air from burning fossil fuels, and about 300 of those tons per second are going into the ocean. It gives you an idea of the scale of it.
So, cause for concern by scientists?
Yeah, well, one of the reasons for concern is that it's changing the ocean chemistry. As the carbon dioxide dissolves in the oceans, it makes it more acidic, hence the term ocean acidification.
You're talking about the pH level?
Yeah, the pH level, which is a way of measuring how acidic something is. Essentially, smaller pH numbers are more acidic, so the pH of the ocean is going down.
And so this film actually argues that entire species could be at risk, including coral reefs, which the film says could die out in 50 years. What would that mean for the oceans?
Changes like that could be catastrophic. I mean, if coral reefs were to die out, there are whole large ecosystems involved with them. You know, all the beautiful fish that you see in typical photographs of coral reefs. And there's a lot of people depend upon the fishing around coral reefs. They're quite productive areas for that part of the ocean. Probably, I think I've read that about 1/7 of the world's fish supply of people eating fish is caught around coral reefs. So you can imagine the potential problems for people if that happened.
What sort of other problems do scientists worry about? Of course, there's the food supply for people who just depend on fisheries. But what other functions does the ocean play that could be risked by both rising temperatures and the acidification?
There's a lot of speculation about that. It's not something we really know very well. The fisheries are the most obvious change. The other changes that are almost certain to be happening are actually at the microbial level and changing what we talk about as the biogeochemical cycles in the ocean, changing where things grow and where they decompose. And the consequences of this for the oceans is really not clear to us.
Is it conceivable, as this film argues, that entire populations of fish are at risk if carbon dioxide levels continue dissolving into the oceans at the rate that they are?
It's clear that the change in pH and the change in carbonate ion concentration has causes problems for many marine species. And the logical extension of that is to ask, well, at what stage does a problem become a catastrophe? These things don't typically happen smoothly. Eventually get to a limit where something catastrophic happens and there's a sudden change. So although there's no clear evidence that that is certain to happen, the possibility is really there.
And just in closing, what really is being done and what would need to be done to protect the oceans as we know them?
There's two parts to that. One, to protect the oceans, we would have to stop putting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And this is a huge problem because we put a huge amount of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. We talk in this, on the per year basis, of billions of tons. There's about 30 billion tons of carbon dioxide put into the atmosphere in an average year. About 30% of that goes into the oceans.
Well, thanks so much for coming by to talk to us. The Southern California premiere of the documentary A Sea Change is being screened on Thursday, May 7th at the Scripps Seaside Forum. To RSVP, you can call or email the address on your screen. The film is free to the public and will be followed by a Q&A with the filmmakers and Scripps scientists, including Andrew Dixon and Scripps Oceanography Director Tony Hayment. For San Diego News Network, I'm Rebecca Tolan.